Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a case where a police officer unlawfully pulled a driver over and then made up several fake reasons to justify his tyranny. Fellow officers then joined in to harass the driver and essentially kidnap him too. In September 2023, a man named Eric Allred was driving down the road when he was caught by surprise, seeing a patrol vehicle right behind him with its lights and sirens switched on. Completely confused and unaware of why he was being pulled over, he complied with the standard procedures of a traffic stop and slowed down before eventually stopping by the side of the road. This was when an officer with the Carbon County Sheriff's Office walked over to Mr. Allred's vehicle and made contact with him. We will look at this encounter through the officer's body cam, along with some portions coming from Mr. Allred's mobile phone. It's important to pay attention to the officer's reasoning for the stop, as it continues to change throughout the ordeal.
How's it going?
All right, what do you want?
So I pulled you over because the registered owner of this vehicle comes back, shows that they have warrants. So I'm just gonna confirm that if that's you or not. So, do you have okay. Do you have your license with you?
I do.
Okay. Can I see it?
No.
This is a lawful stop, sir.
Is it?
Yes.
What's that? Lawful stop all about again?
What?
What is that? Lawful stop all about?
Sir, I can't hear you.
You profiled me is what you did, and you're telling me I have warrants?
No.
Supervisor down here. Supervisor.
Okay. All right. I need your ID.
No, you're not getting it. Articulate a crime I've committed.
It's sir. The
Sir,
registered
don't
owner of this
sue me.
vehicle.
Serious.
Okay.
I live with you.
Okay.
Supervisor.
Okay. All right. I'll get him out here. Okay.
Hurry up.
All right. Hey, Sarge. I'm on this stop right in front of dispatch. This guy is, he very much wants to speak to my supervisor. Thinks I'm profiling him. So yeah, he won't give me ID, nothing like that. So I'm smelling marijuana coming from the vehicle. I stopped him because I ran the plate. He blew by me after that last stop I had. So I ran the plate, and it comes back to Eric Allred, and there's a million Eric Allreds with warrants. So I said, I'm verifying that, if this is you or not, and so that's what I've got.
As seen in the footage, the officer claimed that the reason for the stop was that the vehicle Mr. Allred was in came back with its owner having an active warrant. First of all, in Utah, the police can run your license tag on your vehicle anytime they want. They can run your license plates anytime they wish without even stopping you first. This is typically the standard everywhere in the United States. Officers can run plates as per their wish, so running Mr. Allred's plates wasn't an issue here, but we will soon find out that this was a bogus traffic stop anyway. Note that Mr. Allred rightfully requested a supervisor at the scene after the officer demanded ID, and this was likely because he already had a feeling that the stop was unjustified. We have yet to discuss whether Mr. Allred actually had a warrant, but this essentially becomes irrelevant soon, as the officer starts fishing for more reasons to justify his stop. Interestingly, the officer also came up with an odor of marijuana while speaking to a sergeant, and this appeared to be a complete lie. We will soon confirm whether this was true or false. Regardless, the officer remained seated inside his patrol vehicle for a few minutes while waiting for a supervisor to arrive. And when he did arrive, things got interesting, as you will now see.
Alright, Sergeant's on his way, okay?
Why isn't he here?
He can't just appear like out of nowhere.
Well, okay, you can. Well, now refresh my memory on what this stop is about.
When you drove past me,
Yeah.
at that traffic stop back there,
Yeah.
blazed past me.
Blaze past you.
Yeah.
Blaze past you.
Yep.
Okay.
So I ran the plate on this vehicle.
Yeah,
Going back to
no.
Eric Allred, who has warrants. I'm gonna make sure.
Okay,
this
well,
isn't you.
that's me. Arrest me. Let's go.
Do you have warrants?
You're saying I do, I guess I must.
There's a lot of Eric Allreds out there. I'm trying to verify if this is you or not.
Well, you know, when you radioed in the plates to this vehicle or this private automobile, you got me. So if you're saying I have warrants, you better arrest me.
Okay. Do you have your ID with you?
I do.
Okay, let me see it.
No thanks. You've already violated my Fourth Amendment, right? You're working on the First and the Fifth and the Sixth, and I'm not going to help you.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
We've just seen the officer suddenly come up with a completely different reason for the stop. He now claimed that Mr. Allred blazed past him while he was at a different traffic stop, and that was why he ended up running Mr. Allred's plates, which came back alerting him that the owner had warrants. Bear in mind that this could easily be a completely made-up story. The officer could have just run Mr. Allred's plates, identified his name, and gone with the story of him having a warrant. Another concern here is whether Mr. Allred was obligated to provide the officer with his ID in this situation. The Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution provides the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched, and the persons or things to be seized. Utah Code 77-7-15, however, authorizes police officers to stop and question a suspect. It reads, "A peace officer may stop any person in a public place when he has a reasonable suspicion to believe he has committed or is in the act of committing or is attempting to commit a public offense and may demand his name, address, and an explanation of his actions." Now this, by extension, applies to a traffic stop also. Judging by these elements, you may say that Mr. Allred was technically supposed to give his ID, but the fact that he was adamantly refusing to do so implies that he was confident he had no warrants. We get to know about this later in the encounter. Anyway, let's see what happened when the supervisor made contact with him. Pay attention to what the officer said to the supervisor beforehand, revealing his true motive.
You've already violated my Fourth Amendment.
Okay.
Right? You're working on the First and the Fifth and the Sixth, and I'm not going to help you.
Okay. Still can't get ID from him. So.
Okay. Can't smell weed though.
Hello? How can I help you?
I don't know, but he seems to have a problem with me, so let's get to the bottom of it real quick, like.
Okay. So I can smell weed coming from your car.
Oh, God, that's hilarious.
Okay. Do you not have marijuana on yet?
Dude, be serious.
I'm being serious.
Well, you're evidently full of
Okay.
If you're smelling weed, you need something to do, go down to the border and work. We need good help down there.
So how can I help you today?
I'm being detained for what reason? I don't know. I have warrants. If that's the case, let's go. I don't like playing games.
Okay.
I'm being detained against my will. No longer able to travel freely and unmolested.
Okay. So do you have identification on you?
Anything I give you will be used against me. This private automobile is registered to me.
Note how the supervisor, instead of being rational, also jumped on the notion of smelling an odor of marijuana coming from the car. But what makes this rather suspicious is that he had to first ask and confirm this with the first officer instead of basing it on his own judgment. This is an appropriate time to discuss a very important topic. We've seen time and time again officers weaponizing their authority by using the odor of marijuana as probable cause to violate an innocent civilian's constitutional rights. But it makes perfect sense because just like every other state, Utah courts have recognized that probable cause and, by extension, reasonable suspicion may arise from an officer's sense of smell. It is well settled that the odor of marijuana coming from a vehicle establishes probable cause for the warrantless search of that vehicle. So, unlike other mediums of judgment, a smell is rather subjective, meaning that theoretically, an officer could fake his claim and still search a vehicle without a search warrant. We've seen this happen several times on this channel. Anyway, this is where both officers quite literally get exposed trying to come up with reasons to justify their tyrannical behavior. We're about to witness the supervisor and his officer fail in their footsteps trying to violate Mr. Allred's rights.
Okay, but
What? Nothing.
he needs to have your identification.
Well, am I suspected of committing a crime?
From my understanding, yes.
What crime he committed?
For the warrant?
So, did you move over when you? Did he move over, slow down, or any of those?
He didn't slow down. He moved over, but he flew past me enough to get my attention.
Okay.
So then that's when I ran his plate, and then now I'm trying to verify.
Okay, so that's the crime he broke.
So failure to yield.
You're alleging infractions? What crime?
Failure to yield.
Failure to move over.
Failure to move over for peace.
Failure to kiss your. Oh, and I blew past you.
Garrick, so
Unbelievable. Well, let's see these warrants. Come on, let's go.
well, we need your
Pull
ID.
me out. No.
So I'm gonna have you step out, Eric, because you got a
you're not.
gun.
I'm not stepping out. I don't feel safe. How about that?
Okay, well, we don't feel safe with the gun being right next.
It really couldn't get more ridiculous than this. Both officers stuttered trying to explain why Mr. Allred was even being pulled over in the first place. They both essentially went quiet for a good few seconds thinking about what to come up with. What this implied is that 1. There was no warrant under Mr. Allred's name. 2. Mr. Allred did not blaze past the officer. And 3. There was no odor of marijuana. The result? An illegal traffic stop. On top of this, the supervisor found yet another bogus reason to order Mr. Allred out of his vehicle, stating that it was because Mr. Allred had a firearm in his possession. For context, this firearm was legally carried by him. At this point, the officers were trying hard to get Mr. Allred to give up his rights and comply with their abusive demands.
Well, then, I'd like to be on my way and free to go.
As soon as we make sure that you don't have.
Make sure nothing.
Eric.
You say you smell weed? Get the drug dog over here so I can throw it in your face.
Okay, get the drug dog. Step out.
So, Hadley just said that about the gun. When I first pulled him over, he must have over. So, I say we get more people here so I can bring weapons on.
You guys. We need something to do. I know you want to hit me. Go for it.
Absolutely not.
No, I see it, Jim.
Joy. Seats. 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 Come here, Joe. Blake.
Guys, you need something to do? Yeah, I know you want to hit me. Go for it. Oh, we got crimes here. You ain't touching me. You touch me.
We're gonna pat you down.
No, you are. Pat, no, don't be grabbing me up. Pat.
I'm gonna detain you just for now.
Oh, you're detaining me for what crime?
We're not any crime. You're being detained because of officer safety reasons.
Oh, reasons.
Bring your hand around there.
Ooh.
The video recording on Mr. Allred's phone ends here, likely because he was being placed in handcuffs. And the reason for that, as shamelessly stated, was officer safety reasons. In fact, one of the officers blatantly stated that it was not for a crime, admitting to unlawfully detaining Mr. Allred. He was subsequently placed in the back seat of a patrol vehicle, still not knowing exactly how he was lawfully detained.
Oh, no crime. Circus, get Jeff down here.
So, he's just got that big pit bull in there that's trying to get out.
Okay.
And then I have Joey's training stuff in that seat, so I didn't want him.
Okay.
No, you're good. Going into that.
So, you smell weed, I smell weed.
Okay.
So, and then he's not identifying himself. So, keep your head in there, see if you can smell weed.
smelling the dog the most when he moved at me, but
Yeah.
right before the dog moved at me.
Just that.
So as soon as I came up here, that was the first thing. It's like as I'm approaching the vehicle, it's what I smell.
Yeah.
It's negative. But if I notice a vehicle like that flying by,
Yeah.
and then run the plate,
If your lights are still activated, it doesn't matter if you're still in the stop. Your lights are on, they have to significantly slow down or move over as far as possible.
Following this, all 3 officers completely tore through Mr. Allred's vehicle, searching every corner in hopes of finding the alleged marijuana. But as expected, they found absolutely nothing illegal inside. So they had no choice but to conclude the traffic stop with a few citations that had a small chance of being justified in court.
15, please.
before we take him out of cuffs, I'm just going to explain his ticket to him.
A quick note here, there was absolutely no reason for the officer to keep Mr. Allred in handcuffs at this point. He showed absolutely no signs of resistance to begin with, and certainly did not pose a threat anyway. This was simply out of retaliation.
Alright, Eric, you step out. Yeah, let me just explain your citation to you, okay?
Citation.
Yep. So, you're gonna have to take care of this within 14 days, but no sooner than 5. We do that at Carbon County Justice Court, which I've circled there. That's their address, that's their phone number, okay? So I just failed to move over and slow down for emergency vehicles.
Okay. Just like the car in front of me, and maybe the car behind me. Oh, don't worry, just don't miss court. I'll be there.
Okay. Do that for you?
Ultimately, Mr. Allred was cited for failure to move over or slow down for an emergency vehicle, which was completely bogus. And let's not forget that the initial reason was for a warrant, but for some reason this was never discussed. There have been no further updates made on this case as of the date of this recording, and it's unclear whether this citation was dropped in court. Be sure to check out our previous video, where we cover another outrageous police encounter.